Well, God, our Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity, this privilege, this honor to come together as your children. Father, now we ask that you guide our thoughts, that we will do what is pleasing to your sight, that we will be bound together with the cords of love that nothing and no one can separate, and that we keep forever mindful that we are here for the citizens of Pickens. Let us do our best for them, and then you will hold us accountable if we don't. Father, I thank you for each member of council, our mayor. I thank you for all employees, our administrator. Father, we just thank you for this opportunity, this opportunity to serve. Now, Father, may we use it wisely. May we be bound to it. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
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 Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Officer Natalie, could you hand me that sheet out there that has the citizens who are going to speak, please? Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, we have comments from citizens. Ms. Shardine Rogers. Okay, I'm sorry.
I noticed there's absence of a court reporter. Was somebody keeping minutes?
I am.
You are? Okay, perfect, thank you. Caroline Rogers, I-18 East Direct Street. I first will start this meeting off by thanking our fire department, which I don't think, is he here?
Congratulations.
Hello. Thanking the fire department and of course our police department for a phenomenal job they did over the weekend. We are a small town. To pull off what we pulled off is amazing. You know, all the accolades, everything that's been going to both departments is well deserved, current and of course for future. So they've done an amazing job. So thank you. We appreciate you keeping us safe. I also would like to thank our City Works for their hard work. Our town looked good. I mean, it was nice to go around and see it, see all the hard work they put into it. So I think we, you know, again, pulled off an amazing feat, and, you know, everybody should be proud of how the city looked. My goal, of course, is never to make anybody uncomfortable. I've been an executive in business for 30 years, and sometimes things need to just come out to the front and be made public. As a city resident, I am concerned over the city administrator. And I do believe it's becoming a liability, especially when it comes to our grounds of communication and just the overall city ecosystem. I'm going to start back in the November-December meeting that we had, you know, regarding an employee that left the city. And we can, you know, I can't erase the dialogue, I guess, is what I'm wanting to say. We could debate whether the Robert's Rules of Order and whether the mayor asking the city administrator to reconsider was appropriate. But we can't debate the lack of professionalism that was done in CC's response. It was a prime time for UCC to show the city that you heard and that you listened to our concerns.
Yes, sir.
Please inform the lady that she needs to address council, not an employee.
Well, if
This is the time to address us.
I'll be more than happy. I thought it would be important for me to give her eye contact, and I apologize.
Well, I think you need to.
I don't want to feel like she's not somebody in the room.
Okay.
So there's a reason why. In business, you usually like to look at people eye to eye when you're having a conversation about them. So I will follow you, and I apologize for not looking and giving you direct contact. So it was a prime time to set the stage for showing the community, you know, one that you do not live in, that you care about our citizens. You know, it was a chance for you to say, hey, I'm impressed with the outpouring of the community and the time, the attention, and the effort that you've come forth, you know, to speak to us. It was the citizens that took the time. They came, but instead they were shut down when the mayor asked about her, reconsidering with a firm no. Kind of set the tone for other things that I'm seeing coming down the road. You were asked by Patrick, or she was asked by Patrick, to reconsider the trash can situation. I think another citizen has pictures of an issue right now involving the trash. She was asked by Patrick, hey, can we reconsider, or not reconsider, can we give a grace period for the new thing to take effect? I had pointed out in that exact meeting that the ordinances on the website were not current, were not up to date, and we had not notified a lot of citizens properly. Again, a firm no. A simple request for a grace period followed by a firm no. If you fast forward to the Facebook post done by the city, and I don't know, and I apologize, I don't know if you were the one who did it or exactly who did it, that there was going to be a live. That did not happen. Many people in the city felt like they were left in the dark in regards to the communication and what was going on for the July 1st activities. They relayed on the market at the mill and Pickens local for a lot of the information. So, I think it was mentioned in the last meeting, I think it was Barbara who actually said, who's running the town? Is it the market at the mill? Is it the city? Or is it Pickens local? On July 2nd, there was a post. I think the city did the post thanking the police department, which, of course, was well-deserved. And there was a comment made by a citizen asking, where was the city administrator? They did not see her at that time. I'm not sure, again, who it was who did the response, but it was in quotations, and it said, I was there and worked where I was needed. I also worked to clean up the storm. You were incorrect in your assumption I was not there. That was a response to the comment. I'm first going to say the roads were a mess on Sunday morning after the event. So I don't know what cleaning took place, but I can tell you I was there, the mayor was there, the chief of police was there Sunday morning. I didn't see any city council members. I didn't see the city administrator cleaning up that street. It took, again, the mayor, the chief, him making calls, getting some inmates in to get the streets cleaned, as well as Mrs. Beach and myself out there working. I had a tree on my house, and I'm out there working. Okay, sorry. I don't ever take up time. You're going to have to deal with me right now. I apologize, but I don't normally take up a lot of time. So the next thing, of course, was since July 1st, there have been over 300 comments logged to the Facebook city page in regards to the vendors' fees, the lack of communication, and the planning behind the vendors. The comments from the city have been extremely lacking in empathy, compassion, and give anyone looking at the site a sour taste when it comes to considering a vendor for our next event. And I want to know, how is that helping the city? Generally, when someone comes to a meeting with a list of issues, you like to see them come with solutions. Unfortunately, in this situation, I don't have the authority to come up with a solution, except in November when it comes to our votes. So I'm asking you, the council members, the people we voted for to represent our city, to find a solution to show the citizens that they matter, their voices matter, Mr. Neely, and that we want to be heard.
Thank you. Ms. Carter,
Yes, sir.
I need someone to keep it tight, okay? We have an ordinance that says, a rule that says, you get 5 minutes to speak, and we need to adhere to that, okay? So, could I have someone be a timekeeper?
I don't have mine.
I'll do it.
I do.
You got it out there?
I do. There you go. Yeah. Put it down the floor this way, yeah.
Went it down to 1 minute? Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna do it. Thank you, Daniel.
Miss- is
I
that
might
the
need to
rule?
let you.
Thank you.
mine down, so hopefully I will be within the time limit. I will try not to stray from this because I tend to get off topic. So once again, my name is Rebecca Newman. I come to you as a concerned citizen, but we're going to save that for a later time. Tonight I come to you as a thankful citizen. And I think sometimes y'all need to hear the good, because I feel like sometimes you just hear the negative. So tonight I'm going to tell you some good. First of all, I do want to thank all officials and workers who came together to make one of the largest events in my lifetime in Pickens be successful and safe. Law enforcement came together on all parties, the fire department, medics, they were there. I was front and center, present near the stage, and when somebody would raise a hand, they needed a medic, they were there. So that tells me there was a plan in place. It was organized. So thank you to all. You were equipped, ready to help, but I want to spend a moment talking about one man in general. And he's not going to like this, because he's probably the most humble man that I know, but that is our chief, Randall Beach. I know that he held 2-a-day meetings before this event. They were for the Trump team, officials, government, officers, to make sure everyone was on the same page, that everything ran smoothly, it was safe, and some of you were there. I'm thankful that he took the initiative to do this, because I feel like working together and being on the same page is important. I'm also thankful that when the event was over, he didn't just leave. He stayed and he helped with cleanup, and when the storm came through, he really helped with cleanup. And I lived beside him, and I know that there was lots of cleanup to be done in his yard. Cheryl was out cleaning up, but I do think he did call to check on her, everything good, and he was out cleaning up in the city. And he was doing whatever he needed to do, because that's who he is. Matter of fact, came out of church on Sunday morning, he's still out there cleaning up. And I do know this man, he likes to go to church on Sunday mornings. He and Cheryl both. She was with him. Now, he may have made her, I don't know. But she was out there helping clean up too, because he does have a servant's heart. And in the role that he's in, I'm appreciative of that. As a citizen, as a parent, I say all this to say, as a citizen who was born and raised here, we have never had a police chief like we do right now. Chief Beach believes in going above and beyond the call of duty and building relationships in the community, and he doesn't care your past. He doesn't care the color of your skin. You can be polka dot for all he cares, and he's there to build a relationship with you and help. As a parent, I love what he's done for the youth in Pickens County. These children in our community feel comfortable around him. They're not scared. He challenges them to be the best version of themselves, and how do I know this? Well, I have kids in middle school and at the high school, and I see him everywhere. He's at sporting events. He's at races, challenging them to get out and run. He's at Be Well. You'll see him strumming a guitar with some of the youth. He's building relationships with the youth because they're our future. They are the future of Pickens, and that's what's important. Before him, we didn't have popsicles with the police. We didn't have scavenger hunts to find goats. We didn't have fun things like that for kids to get out during the summertime and do. So for that, I'm thankful. It's been an amazing thing to transpire in Pickens. As his neighbor, I probably see a lot more than most. Like him helping neighbors cut down trees on Sunday mornings or on his off day. Doing public works, cutting grass, things that it's not his job, but he sees a need and he does it. Also, the fact that he barely sleeps and is constantly out keeping us all safe. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I appreciate the environment that he creates with his officers. It is a very positive one. I've seen that firsthand, and that's something to be admired. So, thank you. I just wanted to shed a little positivity. Thank you for your time.
You got 30 more seconds.
Oh, you want me to keep talking? Because y'all all know I can.
You're done good.
Representative David High.
Good evening.
You'll have to give him 10.
He can have out of the 3.
Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here. And I just want to thank you two ladies that have already spoken, because that's basically what I wanted to say. Obviously, I was deep within the planning stages of bringing this event to Pickens. And I can tell you from the day I got the first phone call that it was going to be quite a challenge. And up until probably 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, it was still a challenge. But I'll tell you tonight that over 38,000 people came through the gate. And over 4,000 or 5,000 people were outside the arena that never came in. So you're talking about 45,000 people that descended on Pickens in a small town, you know, where the mayor and I tried to get them to move the stage. We didn't think they gave us enough room, but they were determined to put it there. And I just want to say thank you. You know, there was times that we didn't know what was going to happen. You know, the meetings at 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock every day, Chief would set us all down and say, okay, here's what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. And I could tell you that man standing right back there is the reason it was successful. It was because he had been through some of this before in his previous jobs. And you don't know when you hire somebody what you're going to face. But when you hired this guy, you hit a home run. A home run. A grand slam out of the park. Don't lose him. Do not lose him. You lose him, you won't ever replace him. I'm telling you, I've traveled this state. I've been all over this state doing a lot of things. There's no Chief Beach in a lot of these places. Don't lose him. Do not lose him. But again, I say thank you. I thank y'all for what you did. I know some of the folks in this room, it wasn't the most pleasant person in the world to bring into this community. That's okay. It's okay. Love him or hate him, he put us on the map. Everywhere I go, I tell them I'm from Pickens, and the first thing they go is, how did you get him there? Why not? When you come to Pickens, I will tell you that I've been in communication with the Trump team several times since they left. And they are astonished at what took place on July the 1st. Astonished. Because when they got here, they weren't sure. I remember Mayor and I walking down the street with them the first day. And they said, there'll probably be about 15,000 people here. I looked at them and said, you're way off base. They won't be more than 15,000, 18,000 people. I said, you're way off base. He goes, you don't think there'll be that many? I said, no, there'll be twice that many. No, it'll never happen. They were astonished. But they were pleased. There's a commercial out that Trump's using right now that highlights Pickens in his campaign. That's what we did for him. That's what you did for him. That's what Pickens did for him. We're on the map. Let's build off what we did. Let's don't go backwards. We're going the right direction. This guy behind me is taking us there. Don't lose him. Thank you.
Mr. Denny Parkin.
Don't start the clock yet, preacher.
Well, this is another preacher here getting up here, y'all. He ain't gonna listen to that 5 minutes.
Can I have
He gonna blame it on the Holy Ghost.
That's right. That's right.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm Danny Parton, 3014 Gentry Memorial Highway, a lifelong resident of Pickens for almost 67 years. Born in the old Cannon Hospital. Don't get me rambling. But I want to thank you, City Council, Mayor, our administrator. Thank you so much for what you're doing. There are some things you're doing right. I want you to know that. And I just can't say thank you enough. I'm going to ask forgiveness for not getting involved in the past, like I see the need to get involved personally with each one of you. You can read Facebook, you can hear people talk, and it's just yank, 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 everything that's wrong. But until I begin to sit down with some of the folks and go into, I'm gonna call you and let you take me to lunch. We'll sit down and talk.
You got it.
But get to personally know each other, and the chief as well. I want to get to know this man as well. So thank you, Chief Beach, your staff, your officers, coming in cooperation with Pickens County law enforcement, the fire. What an event turned out. Great leadership, great organization. And when I say get to know, just think for just a moment, just to get to know each of you personally and hear from you and not from hearsay, okay? The reason I'm saying thank you to Miss Charlene Carter, I've never met her, but to sit down and hear what she's been doing, the work, not only in the office, but even greater outside in the field, sleeves rolled up, working in the trenches. But a lot of times what people don't know, they perceive it differently. So I'm just here to say thank you. You need that. And I want you to know, our city is not a cesspool like some people think in Columbia. Okay? God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Barbara Robinson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everybody know who I am. This is an issue. You can pass that around and everybody see it. That's concerning our trash cans. They all three, they different pictures. I didn't get a bunch of copies made. You can just pass them and let everybody look at it. And I can tell you what it said. It's on right off of Gown Street. That's a mess. That trash need to be picked up in one of them, the houses across from the library in Pickens. And that need to be taken care of. They said they was gonna continue to pick up the trash without it being in a can, but that looked like it ain't been picked up in a while. And another concern I want to say, on the last meeting that we had, Jonathan stood up here and said, our cheerleader suits are here, like he was throwing shade toward Brandon. But Brandon no longer lives in Pickens, so he can stop that. Whoop-de-doo, they got their cheerleader suit. They probably the same one from last year. So they can let that go. And then another concern that I have is that we had this big old event in our town. Everybody was looking for Trump. We got out here. I seen the city workers working day and night. But this mess we got on our streets now from the storm, let's see if we can get that same city people to get out there and work day and night and get that cleaned up. I know they said on Facebook, which I don't believe nothing on Facebook, they said that it was going to be a construction company coming through to help pick up that stuff. Every time we ask for somebody to come in our neighborhood to pick it up, it's always, we ain't got no truck driver, we ain't got this, we ain't got that. Well, you need to look at things, because if you ain't got nobody working for the city, you think it's a problem with the city itself. People don't want to work for the city. People don't want to be up here. People don't want to be around. And I also heard y'all didn't pay no money, so that's a different story. But you got to get good workers. You got to get people out here to pick up the same way in our neighborhood that you do in your own neighborhood. Not trying to make it a black and white thing. I'm just saying. I seen them working in every neighborhood, but they didn't come. Oh, he came down 178, but they didn't come down 178 to that neighborhood to get that stuff cleaned up. But they cleaned up everywhere else. So we need to be fair about everything. We need to treat everybody the same. If y'all want somebody to vote for y'all in November, do the right thing. That's all I'm gonna say. And I know y'all like my shirt, cause this is from Lori the lawyer, who said y'all was a poop show. He said I couldn't cuss, so I gotta use poop.
I did this kind of as a way to subvert a little bit. I wouldn't have an opportunity to refute some of these way too many accolades. because this tells a story right here. And even tonight, there's Corporal Wimpy, Corporal Velez, Lieutenant Nally. But I wanted to do one thing tonight because they have been overlooked and overshadowed, and I'm glad. Captain, can you come in here? This is a memorandum to Chief Elrod and Captain Crenshaw from the Pickens Police Department in reference to the Pickens Police Department Commendation Award. This memorandum is provided to Chief Chris Elrod and Captain Rodney Crenshaw to award the same, the Pickens Police Department Commendation Award bar. During the 12-day period prior to July 1 event on Main Street, Pickens, Chief Elrod and Captain Crenshaw were undaunted by a compressed time period to prepare for fire and EMS contingencies for a large-scale event with serious potential for weather-related emergencies, compounded by evacuation difficulties. Their event planning contained a difficult intersection with the law enforcement component related to the protection of dignitaries to include a former president of the United States. Not only was their event plan flawless on paper, but it was also organic and became effectual in the evacuation of more than 100 personnel who had been physiologically and medically compromised by the weather. If not for their pre-planning and their dynamic implementation of their plan, I have no doubt that the event would have been deemed a catastrophe and lives would have been lost. Due to the overshadowing of the law enforcement and protection aspect of the event, Chief Elrod, Captain Crenshaw, and the entire fire and EMS component have been overlooked. A commendation barely represents my own personal admiration for their leadership efforts. They have my unwavering respect as true professionals, and I trust that this commendation will convey to them a level of thanks and respect that is due their profession and their heroic actions in this event. Sorry about that.
Chris here too.
At this time, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank a council member that is not here tonight, Patrick Locke. Patrick Locke served this city for a long time. He's probably one of the most senior councilmen on council. I'm gonna miss him because he always asked the probing questions. He would always engage us, but think about something before we answer it. And I'm gonna miss him. I thank God for him, and I thank God to bless him on all these other endeavors that he's gonna be successful on. And I ask for your prayers for him. Thank you. At this time, item number 4, ordinance 2023-10. I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry, you wasn't on the list, but come on up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Ernestine Wilson, and I live on Morris Lane. I was up here a few times before about this. Nothing never happened. The two that was out here were climbing to clean that area. You see how it is going back up. Weed whacker is not gonna clean that up. You got a tree laying back here that's been down for about 5 or 6 years. It was uprooted from a storm. You got groundhogs, like I said, running around like they tenants. It's not presentable. So, I don't know if you can make whoever owned that property clean it up. The previous chief of police that was here, that's what they did. They contacted the owner of that property. He, she, or whoever cleaned it up. And it hasn't been done since. It's back up sky high again. And it looks terrible. My second concern is the water pressure in that area is not very good. Kind of low like. I don't know who you tell or who you go to about it. So, letting you guys know.
What's your address again?
112 Horse Line.
112 North Line.
And my last concern is when everybody had Mr. Trump here, you had some young boys on the street parking cars. You had a car full of other ones come through and use the N-word. My concern is, where was the protection around our area? If those kids want to escalate or start something, who's gonna be there around that area? That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, ordinance 2023-10. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak tonight?
Real quick, first of all, I want to stand here, I heard some ladies talking about our administrator. Prior to Trump coming in, we had our summer concert series, and I saw Cece on her own time after hours and the week of the Trump working along with Debbie Gravely, Mr. Owens, all the people that you've entrusted for us to fill that amphitheater. They've done a good job. Had the biggest crowd ever at that amphitheater for a summer concert series, not a festival, and very few people from the council were there. Patrick Mark did make an appearance, like always. He's going to be missed. I agree totally with you. But he's moving on to bigger and bigger things. But I can assure you, these folks that said they don't see CC out doing, I have. And I appreciate her effort on her own time, not on city time, doing things to make our amphitheater and our town look better. So I just want to say that. And Chief Beach, I got to give him an accommodation too. I got to. Burhead, you'll appreciate this. I just put Chief Beach and Mark Youngblood together because there was miscommunication on what he could do with his own property, and he was going to park cars, and the Secret Service changed things. Chief Beach, he made Mark stutter, and I have to admit, he said, this is the way it is. This is Secret Service and federal law. It's out of our hands. So I appreciate him letting him know. I loved it. I thank the fire department for what they did after the event's over, because we had one heck of a storm come through. And the whole town basically was out of power. People can complain about, well, do power this, do power that, but as far as I know, there were no serious injuries. And they could very well with all down the power lines laying everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Anyone else? Number 4, ordinance 2023-10, Baker Street rezone. This is the second reading.
Baker Street, there were several parcels on that street that we visited, planner visited, and discussed the parcels, and some of them were zoned R12 and they should have been zoned R8. We took it to the planning commission, it was read in May, and it's been through public hearing with you all. So the following listed parcels need to be changed from R12 to R8, and that's 160 Glassy Mountain Street, 306 East Baker Street, 312 East Baker Street, 314 East Baker Street, and 326 East Baker Street. And you have a vacant parcel on East Baker listed as parcel number 4181-1286-6007.
I entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2023-10.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-10, Baker Street rezoning.
Second.
I got a motion by Jimmy, a second by Lois. Any other questions or comments? There being none, all in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Item number 5, convening executive session. Code of Law, section 30-4-70, city council enter into executive session to discuss contracts pertaining to, after speaking with the attorney, we need to be specific of what those contracts are for.
The contract will be for possible development plan. We need to look at utilities, annexation, those type of areas. And then we have personnel matters after that.
That's twice.
Development in general area of,
Midway.
is that specific enough? You know what Midway is, okay.
We know where that's located.
All right, that's sufficient, and then personnel matters and to receive legal advice regarding the same.
Personnel matters related to city employee
Right,
and advice from the city attorney.
correct.
Okay, I need a motion for city council to enter into executive session to discuss contracts pertaining to possible development plan for Midway area and personnel matters related to city employee and advice from the city attorney.
I'd like to make said motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Isaiah and a second by Jimmy. All in favor? It is unanimous. We will go into executive session. We'll ask the citizens to stand by.
I entertain
I'd
a
like to make a
motion.
motion that we come out of executive session. Second.
I got a motion by Isaiah, second by Robert. All in favor? It is unanimous. Item, there's no action to be taken out of executive session. Item number 6.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I got a motion by Lois and a second by Jimmy. All in favor?
Third by me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all.